Alright, RJB here, and we're back with another video of amazing Starcraft fastest map. Starcraft Remastered's fastest map 1 versus 1. And as you can already see, with the name being displayed there in the chat, we have ourselves a game of Mong. And he's playing, well, I wanted to say the red or blue, but the game is bugging out a little bit, so the colors are not switching to the colors that I want. So we'll just keep it on brown. He's playing the brown Terran here on the bottom corner of the left side of the map. And he's up against Nonthisclothes, also known as 1588 Question these days, or Sewu Gimbap. He is a fastest map 1 versus 1 player, plays pretty much exclusively 1 versus 1. And this should be a treat to watch. Mong playing on his main race. He always plays on low map. Should be exciting to see how he's going to pull this one off, or he's going to win. He's going to put those low money skills on display or not. Although I do have to add that Mong is probably one of the players who adapted the best out of anyone to fastest map 1 versus 1. Concerning he played a lot of matches over the time period that he played fastest map, together with Hamburger Minchel, played with Brain as well, and Rabbit. Pretty much everyone. He challenged every single player that was out there. Libagu, 458, you name it, JH, Question, Trisha. He played them all to prove himself to be the best, the second coming of the Christ, so to speak. And he pretty much beat everyone, except a couple of people. He couldn't beat Brain, he couldn't beat Lucky Back. But he managed to beat everyone at least once in the series. So that's great. He managed to win at least one series against everyone. He also lost a couple of series against everyone, but that's, natural. Anyway, that aside, starts off with 3 barracks, as is standard. Nonthisclothes starting off with 2 gateways, as is, of course, also standard PvT build. Do keep in mind, both players pick their races. And he's trying to deny the choke here, but there's 2 Zealots going to be coming out and going to try to counterattack on that SCV and the Marine. So Mong is just, displaying his multitasking ability by going for the offense so early into the game. And pretty much relying on his micro not to lose that SCV, not to lose that Marine. Giving himself some information, probably gonna get some fire down on those probes. All these circles around. Doesn't really get much done. All the probes stay alive. One of these 2 probes took a little bit of damage. Which one was it? That one, but is already regaining its shield. So it's just being a bother. He's just guiding Nonthisclothes around his own base. And now he's going back into his own base. His Marine is going to go for another circle. He's going to go back in. Great control here. It's all manual control. Avoiding all damage so far. All walking circles inside of Nonthisclothes' base. Zealot made it through. The Zealot's going to go down. Didn't kill anything on its way in. Nothing has died. Surprise. Alright, that Marine died eventually there in the top corner of the base of Nonthisclothes. Nonthisclothes now throwing down a couple of cannons. But Mong is trying to throw a halt to that plan. But he sees that there are too many Zealots there. He gets micro backwards quite nicely. But those Zealots are just going to waltz in and keep on attacking. Now he's managing to get a pretty good blockade off. These Zealots have to kind of walk around. But he's managing the micro back really well. But he just ended up losing most of the Marines. All the Marines still alive. But the cannons in the front there managed to finish up. The SCV there in the front going down. Zealots are fighting. Zealots went down fighting. Marines still alive there in the front. But only 4 Marines. Lost most of them. Being very aggressive. Keeping Nonthisclothes on his toes. Usually it's the other way around. But that great Marine micro. The great control that Mong showed there. Really paying off his dividends. As he manages to pretty much come out on top in that fight. 2 more Zealots there in the front. He is making his academy now. After that +2 command turn. So he's planning on going for that big economy build. Still making Marines. Nonthisclothes already has his robotics facilities on the way there in the front. 2 more cannons on the way as well. Citadel of Adun is being placed. Combining from 2 gas, 2 nexus. Pretty much just, as I already mentioned before, standard stuff. He's lining his Marines up in a line there. Pretty nice. Forces these Zealots to stay out of range, but also gives him the opportunity that once he has medics out here on the map, he can stim in and kill these cannons pretty much all at the same time. Those Marines will all arrive on those cannons at the same time. So that's a smart little bit of setting up that he's doing there for preparing himself for the future attack. But he's going to have to wait for stim upgrade. The stim upgrade is not going to be out for at least 6 minutes in. Marine goes down. Got baited in there. And now we also see that there's a robotic support bay on the way and 2 more gateways. If this keeps going on for a little bit longer, this might turn into a very scary situation for Mong, because Mong has his Marines mislocated on the map, not dislocated, but mislocated on the map. He's now pulling them back because he knows that once those Reavers are out, he can lose those Marines, get cut off like on his retreat path. So he's not taking that risk. He's preparing himself for the defense because he knows those double Reavers are going to be coming out from the 2 robotic facilities, although he hasn't scanned them yet, but he knows that they are probably out there. 2 scans are now on the way. Stim upgraded on the way. What do you call this again? Factory, of course. Factory is finished, he jumps on the way. Starport on the way as well. Probably going for the Wraith or the dropship to try and tank drop those minerals. All those probes, those precious probes that Nonthisclothes has there, which are currently unprotected, but he does not need that protection just yet. Not yet. There's Templar's Archive on the way. He canceled the Reaver. Or did he load it up? Alright, he loaded that 1 Reaver up. 2nd Reaver is on the way. He's queuing up another Reaver and another shuttle for the next wave of drops. Already placing his Marines to intercept the shuttles. But the shuttles are going to come through the front, and the front has not yet been sealed up. And those Marines are moving out. He's going to try to snipe the shuttle while those Zealots... Oh, this is amazing. This is amazing. That scan that he threw out, he threw the scan out just prior to those Zealots moving out. And he saw the shuttle moving out, so he immediately went out into the middle of the map. And Nonthisclothes didn't even have a chance to respond because it was focused elsewhere. Great snipe from Mong. Slows Nonthisclothes down a lot. Now Nonthisclothes has no pressure. Has to wait for the next setup, because that was pretty much the first setup. A timed Zealot lag speed attack with 2 Reavers on the front. But Mong shut it down. Never saw it shut down in that specific way. Most of the time people don't take the risk. But I assume he knew that Nonthisclothes wouldn't be looking for a very short time, so he just went for it immediately. Didn't wait, didn't give Nonthisclothes the time. Now Nonthisclothes going for another attack. Reaver inside that shuttle. 2 Zealots as well. It's going to fly in over the western side of his base. Front is being attacked. Those depots are going to go down. Mong is now focused on that portion there. Mong is now pulling his Marines away, but it's moving. Ooh, this shuttle went down just in time. Those 3 turrets really doing their job. All those turrets are going down. A couple of Marines here went down. Zealots have been cleared out in the front. 2 depots went down as well. Nothing serious lost for either player here. Most important part is that Mong lost nothing of significance, so it means that he is gaining an advantage over Nonthisclothes there. Well, Nonthisclothes still has more workers, 58. Yeah, 58. And he's now preparing for his next wave. And the time is now starting to tick for Nonthisclothes, because Mong is going to keep ramping up, getting bigger. He's even landing tanks up on the hill now, which should make this entire area here contested for Nonthisclothes. He's even landing units up on the hill here now, providing some support, some vision for anything that's going to fly over. So that's a great choice there. Which means they're safe there, although they don't really have range yet. Range upgrade is not on the way. Well, I assume he did upgrade it, but they just cannot fire anything yet. Nonthisclothes almost ready for his next attack. Adding on a lot more robotic facilities because he really wants to spam out those shuttle drops. Shuttles now flying in. There's no Marines within the path. Mong is now responding. Mong didn't hotkey his workers. His workers are going to get stormed. A huge storm comes down, loses half of his workers. Now there's another Reaver there. Reaver is trying to kill the Reaver, but this is a disaster for Mong. After playing the first phase of the game so well, he makes a crucial mistake by mislocating the units that he has and not responding in time, not having his workers hotkeyed, and failing to pull them off, because I assume he was expecting a Reaver drop. He was splitting them up, but then it turned out to be a Templar, which then pretty much killed most of his workers. Now Nonthisclothes is using the fact that Mong is in tatters, and he's gonna load up this next drop as quick as he can, send it out before Mong can recover. This Mong right now on 36 SCVs, a couple of them mining gas, a couple of them mining minerals. But his income has been slowed down tremendously in comparison to Nonthisclothes' 72 probes that he's got right now. Added on a lot of gas, adding on more gateways, just filling out his base very slowly but surely, keeping his minerals low, making sure to keep pumping out all the essential tools that he needs to keep damaging Mong. Drop bombs flying in, Marines stimming in, but Marines are caught out just a little bit too late. SCV's not getting pulled up the minerals, the storms are coming down. The first storm is dodged, there's no second storm coming down. Great situation for Mong. But there's a couple of Zealots in there. Zealots are doing quite some damage, and another storm comes down. He's going to lose 10. He did end up losing about 10 or 12 SCVs there. Maybe even 16. Wasn't too sure what number it was on before drop happened, but it's back to 24, so he's bleeding out really badly. There's still a couple of Zealots running around in his base wreaking havoc. 77 probes now for Nonthisclothes. I assume this is the amount of probes that he wants. We cease probe production. He's losing pilots here on the bottom side, but he's just replacing them all here on the top side, making sure he can keep that 200 psi count up and running. Slowly going to add on gates and factories as well. Robotic facilities, I mean. Flies in, 2 shuttles get sniped, but 4 shuttles make it all the way through. And there are pretty much no units here within the vicinity, and he's dropping those Zealots right on top of those minerals because there's no Templars left. There's a Templar left. This is going to be disastrous, and he manages to storm a lot of Marines. Now it's mostly just those Zealots there being a threat. He stacks them on top of the Zealots and splits them up, makes them attack the Zealots, clears them all out. Beautiful control there from Mong, but he's now on 90 minerals. Shuttles flying back, meaning that he did not lose those shuttles. He can refill them up. He's already filling up all this. That's... how many Reavers is that? 3 or 4 Reavers with a lot of Zealots in that combination. And if he manages to get that one in all the way through to the main of Mong, Mong might just be in the worst situation possible and imaginable. This might be a game-ending drop. There's nothing in the path. All those Marines have now relocated to be in the path. But Mong responds. Mong is going to try to target fire just unloads right next to the Marines. Marines are going to go down. All of them go down. Mong calls it GG because he recognizes that this situation is pretty much completely over. Another storm comes down for Nonthisclothes, and Nonthisclothes takes home the W. And pretty solid game from Nonthisclothes. Even against a player like Mong. Mong did a poor job handling those drops. Honestly did. I hope he turns that habit and trend around in the following games, because I've got a couple of more games for you here between these two players. And I'm going to load up into game number 2. And I hope that Mong puts up a little bit more of a fight against Nonthisclothes. Let's pray for Mong that he can put up more of a fight. Let's see. Nonthisclothes back again on the Protoss on the bottom middle of the map. Purple Protoss this time around. Mong is the orange Terran on the left middle of the map. Playing the Terran I've already mentioned. And I'm gonna speed up the early game a little bit just to save us some time, because to be honest, none of us are really here for the excitement of the first 2 minutes, although the first 2 minutes are usually quite crucial in determining strategy. To a degree, of course, because Terran is pretty much always the same. There's pretty much only 2 builds people tend to go for. There's much more builds in total, but don't see them all that often. So, Nonthisclothes starting off with the same build from last game. 2 gateways and a pylon in the choke. Probably gonna throw down a nexus as well. And Mong starts off with a barrack, followed by a depot, and 2 more barracks and another depot. As is, of course, tradition on 1 vs 1 fast map for the Terran players. He starts off scouting the bottom side of the map after he sent his SCV to the northern side of the map. Whereas Nonthisclothes isn't scouting whatsoever. He's just saving that probe for that extra bit of minerals. There's the forge. First 2 Zealots are out. First 2 Zealots are going to be doing the scouting. I assume he's going to be waiting for Mong to find his base and then counterattack or something along those lines. Or he's just going to scout with the Zealots, setting them out to either side of the map. Marine meets Zealot. Zealot takes some damage. Zealot's now chasing the Marine. Zealot turns around. And he pretty much manages to find Mong on the correct spot on the first try. But that Zealot is not going to be going in. The Zealot goes in. We're taking a lot of damage there from those Marines. Mong's going to catch that Zealot and kill the Zealot. The Zealot is trying to run for its life, trying to get in there and get that crucial information, but it gets walled off. No information from Nonthisclothes other than the location of where Mong is located. But he did see the 3 barracks there, which means that he now knows that Yeah, he saw those 3 barracks. This is just the interface bugging out a little bit and not showing them. There's a 2 gas. Mong sees it. Mong now knows. Oh, he's doing that standard build again. So Mong now knows how to prepare for it. So he's going to put his defensive actions in motion and prepare himself for the future frontal, probably frontal push. I'm just gambling. I assume Nonthisclothes is going for the frontal push with the Rebel Reaver. He did last game, because last game it failed. This time it might work, and honestly, if you can manage to pull it off, it is very, very strong and very effective. Otherwise, of course, he's got a lot of other options, like Dark Templar drops, Dark Templars in the front, Zealot lags, just massing up big, whatever he wants to do. He can even go for Dragoons. I've seen it happen before. Mong loves, Brain God loves going for Dragoons, and then into Reavers, which is, turns out, if you control it well enough, is a really insanely abusive strategy to go for. I'll probably even cast that in the future. Mong versus JH. Brain versus JH. Amazing series. But it's gonna be the Double Reaver, because we see the 2 robotic facilities coming down for Nonthisclothes. SCV still alive. SCV takes another hit. SCV now running away once again. Factory has finished for Mong. Mong added on a single command center and adding on the second command center a little bit delayed. In comparison, most of the time people throw down 2 at the same time. Mong decides to space them out a little bit in timing. Starboard coming down. There's SCV there in the top side, starting the depot because, well, engineering bay. Most of the time people like to place 3 depots here and a little bit of space in between so they can walk through. Ease of access all around your own base is the idea behind it. Steam upgrade is about to finish. He's not going for the offensive here. And he has not started scans yet. He's just adding on those SCVs. Which knows the timing for that scan is to be around 6 minutes. When you expect that Protoss to be moving out with that Double Reaver and the shuttle and the Zealot lags. So it's smart, a little bit of timing he's got going on there with the scan. Delaying it just a little bit because he knows exactly what Nonthisclothes is up to thanks to the information from the SCV he had in Nonthisclothes' base earlier. I'm just going to call him Non. Nonthisclothes is way too long to pronounce. So Non going for Double Reaver. Zealot lags are on the way, as you can see here on the top corner. The Marine range upgrade now on the way for Mong as well. He hasn't really started the choke yet, but he's now starting to choke up. But his choke might be coming a little late. Zealot lags are about to finish. Double Reaver is about to finish. And Nonthisclothes is going to be planning on running in through the front. But Mong does have that siege mode on the way, but the siege mode might not be in time. Let's keep our eye on that siege mode, because the siege mode might become crucial in this process here. Right, he's scouting. So he's going to get himself information. He sees those zealots on the middle of the map, so he knows the zealot speed has finished. He knows the zealots are there. He's pulling them away from the front there. Rebel Reaver has been loaded up. Now he's rendezvousing and regrouping his shuttles with his Reavers. 2 bunkers there have finished. Fire bats. 2 fire bats in there. Smart little pickup. It's going to be hard for those zealots to get in there. Unload those. Right, siege mode is finished up. Reavers have unloaded. Are those Reavers within the range of that tank? Reavers are within the range of that tank. Perfectly spaced by Mong. Thanks to all that low map experience he has. He knows the exact spot he's got to load them up in. Or siege them up on. So he slows down Nonthisclothes' attack by a little bit. Nonthisclothes could honestly have tried, because there's no wall here. He could have tried to go in, landed those Reavers right on top of those tanks, and probably dealt significant damage. But he's going to go for the drop instead. And a frontal attack maybe at the same time. Or maybe he's going to... there's other options here, but he's going to fly in straight into the base and unload right on the sides. Or, yeah, unload right on the sides. 3 Reavers. Mong splitting up his Marines really quickly and really well. And now Nonthisclothes is just running his zealot into the base because he knows there's no wall blocking him. And this now puts Mong in a lot of danger. He's going to have to relocate those tanks again, because those Reavers are going to be wreaking havoc inside the space. Those Zealots are supporting those Reavers quite well. Reavers get loaded up into the shuttle. Reavers inside the shuttle now flying close to the minerals, and he gets a shot up on the SCVs. The SCVs, he kills pretty much all the SCVs there. Throws out the ha, kills more SCVs, and the setup from Nonthisclothes, absolutely brilliant. Yields massive, absolutely massive results, which I think Mong thought would never ever work. Because Mong tried to gamble on the, blocking the SCVs, like having a clip on top of each other so the Scarab cannot get through. But the Scarab got out just a little bit earlier than Mong expected. Or you could say he pull his SCVs off and start clipping them a little bit too late. Nonetheless, Nonthisclothes yields massive results, builds himself another huge lead once again, with honestly a really smart run by here on the front, recognizing that he could just run his zealots into the base to rendezvous with his reavers there. I've rarely seen it happen, but it was really smart, and I'm honestly quite impressed by that one. Mong did not see that coming, and we can see it in the results of him having only 30 SCVs left. And he's gonna take some precautionary actions here, landing tanks on top of the hills to make it harder for Nonthisclothes to walk in through the front. But the damage might have already been done. Irreversible damage for that matter. Because Nonthisclothes, once again, on almost 70 probes against 30 probes from Mong. 2 shuttles gonna be flying in there, but there's a marine there ready to spot them out. There's marines there in the intercepts, in the flight path. Gonna relocate them, gonna try to snipe, but he managed to unload Templars. 4 Templars, 4 Storms already coming down. He managed to snipe a single Templar, but the Storm comes down, kills half of the SCVs, and Mong once again absolutely taking every single punch that Non is throwing out, tanking them with his face pretty much. And you don't ever want to tank a punch with your face. At least, yeah, that's not what you want to do, honestly. Another one comes flying in over the bottom side. Mong responds. Mong is trying to target fire on those shuttles. He managed to unload a Templar. Templar gets a great storm off on a couple of marines. 10 marines went down there. Maybe 9, maybe 10, maybe 12. I'm not too sure because a lot of dead bodies, and I didn't really get to see the number. I should have checked, but I was so transfixed on the marines dying there. Nonetheless, Nonthisclothes is about to drop some massive stacks of zealots right on top of the sides, probably. He's going to fly in all the way to the main. He's got multiple options. You can clear out the sides, clear out the units, clear out the units here, or just clear out those SCVs. I mean, why try to clear out this first if you can go straight for the source of the income? But either choices, honestly, are great choices because Mong has fallen behind significantly. Not even at half of these, well, does it have the supply? That we unloads right on top of those units. Smart choice. Doesn't lose any of those zealots because all those shells get to unload. So it's going to clear out the bottom side here. Probably going to get a couple of storms off on these units, these tanks. Once he clears this out, great choice. Forces Mong to relocate. He's going to get the storm off on both Templars. Immediately get sniped. Amazing snipe from Mong there. Target firing both Templars with those siege tanks. Not something you often see. But great move. Making sure that the damage he takes is at least limited to just those ground forces and those turrets here on the bottom side. He's now placing those marines against the wall. Making sure he can respond immediately. So these marines are kind of functioning as replacement turret. Drop is flying out. Got Singularitas in the way, and he's unloading right on top of those marines, meaning his marines are taking a lot of damage. The Reaper got unloaded. Templar gets a great storm off once again, pretty much. Once again, half of Mong's SCVs going down to a storm. Mong not having a great day here. Slow with his SCV responses, and another drop already flying in. Or it's just... Oh, he picked up a couple of Zealots and now he's unloading them on top of those SCVs, hoping that his tank splash damage is going to take down a couple of those. But Mong has medics here in the area ready to heal up those SCVs, and though now the medics are being pulled away. A lot of Reavers, 6 Reavers here being masked up for Non. This is what I have to wait for those shuttles to finish up. More Reavers on the way too. You can honestly do anything. Anything. And Mong pretty much just dies to anything he will throw out at him. So he's been chipping away at Mong really steadily and surely. Great play, great Protoss, honestly. This is a really good Protoss. It reminds me of 458. In a case where 458 manages to pull off all the moves he needs to in the exact way that he wants to. Goes in through the front, just those Zealots running in, and is going to fly those shuttles in with the Reavers on the front and loads on the front. Tanks up on the hill there, firing away on those Reavers on the ground, but those Reavers are clearing up pretty much all the units that there are. 2 Templars here coming in. Templars are going to, oh, he's going to load those Zealots up onto the hill, and he knows he's already won because there's nothing Mong can do against these Reavers here because there's 8 Reavers, a couple of Marines here, tank there in the back, tanks going to spawn here on the top side. So he's spread it around the base. There's absolutely nothing he can do He's staring down the tiger. Non is just slowly approaching, slowly walking up to him and storming. Did he just slowly walk up to him and storm? Amazing stuff. Alright, so Mong is just, you know... Mong actually managed to save most of his... Wait a second. Alright, so Non got tank dropped at the same time. He does have a huge mass saved up already, but he got tank dropped at the same time by the tank dropship we saw flying out earlier. But it happened at the exact same time, but Mong might just be too far behind already, although he does have 41 SCVs. Nonthisclothes has an entire mass of 150 units. If we ignore the probe count that he has, he got 150 psi in units against 70 supply from Mong. So all he has to do is just unload right on top of the SCC here, clear out the units, clear out the bunkers, clear out the SCVs, and Mong rolls over and dies. Gets decimated. Bam, there goes all the SCVs. Mong knows he's lost. Mong is probably raging as he always does on his stream. Whew. Painful game for Mong. Great game from Nonthisclothes despite losing his probes there at the end. But, you know, worth it. The game was already over. Didn't really make a difference. And Non takes home game number 2 for 2-0. Very quick PvT and another quick PvT win. And Non is... I'm kind of impressed. He's playing a really, really solid Protoss. He's tearing Mong apart from all the sides here. Not even Lisa could do this. So, amazing job here. Right, let's go for game number 3. See how that one's going to pan out. Alright, so let's once again pray for Mong. And pray that this time around the drops that Non is throwing at him are not going to yield the same results as it did in the last 2 games. That was excruciatingly painful to watch. Mong just got hit every single time. And Mong is going to have to step up his game. Going to have to step up specifically his anti-drop, because that's one of the key elements of fastest map. Protecting your income. And he so far failed to protect his income adequately. Non has been throwing out punches right in the gut. Right into the heart of Mong's game plan, his economy. Can he prevent it this time around or not? Non throwing out 2 gateways and a pylon inside of his base. No pylon in a choke. That's different from the usual. But he's going to make a nexus, that is for sure. That is for sure. But this might not work out the best for Non. He's gonna get slow. It's gonna be harder for him to get that choke down because now he's gonna have to throw down that pylon. The pylon is gonna get denied by these Marines. 2 Zealots are gonna spawn very soon though, and the Zealots are gonna fight those Marines and try to stop it. But I've seen this go terribly wrong in some situations. It just so happens to depend on whoever wins the first fight. Right, so the SCV is dragging the Zealot all around the base, meaning these 4 Marines are gonna get a chance at taking down that pylon in the front there and deny the choke. More Marines are on the way. SCV is rendezvousing with the... No, it's gonna turn around and pull the Zealot away. Zealot here is getting cut out. Isn't responding, so he's just gonna ignore those Marines and go for the scout. So now he's turning back around. A bunker is gonna be thrown down here, maybe? No bunker! He's going to use it as a wall. He's going to use it as a wall to keep the Zealot away from the Marines. Marines now cut out a little bit too far away, but he's going to go for a counterattack. 7 Marines against 3 Zealots. One of those Zealots is on low HP. Manages to take down the pylon. Now making cannons inside of his base. And more pylons inside of his base. But he's got supply stuck because he lost the pylon in the front there. Which is one of the downsides of this build if it goes wrong, because you're so tight on minerals. Now, just losing a pylon means that your entire build order is completely wrecked. And more Marines streaming in for Mong. Cannon gets cancelled or denied. I didn't see if it got cancelled, but anyway, it got put down. Marines being microed backwards amazingly well against those Zealots. Those Zealots are going to bite the dust. Marines come out on top. More zealots spawning. Only 2 at a time. Whereas there are 3 Marines coming in for Mong every single time around. And he's making sure to keep those low HP Marines in the back. Well, now they are in the front, of course, but when they're fighting, he's keeping them in the back. Amazing control from Mong there. And now the probes are being pulled off because he's got stim upgrade now, so he's now stimming into those probes. And those probes are going to be meeting their untimely demise. Zealot comes out. Zealot Marines stay alive. He stims them again. No medics are now rendezvousing with the Marines. And Non taps out within 4 minutes and 11 seconds. Great, amazing turnaround for Mong. Recognizing the opportunity to go offensive very, very early because Non makes a very small mistake. Mong pulls himself back into the set. Score now 2-1 for Nonthisclothes. Mong finally getting that W by completely avoiding the entire situation he's worst at, which is the anti-drop play. As it turns out from watching the series so far. Well, let's go into game number 4 and see if he can continue this aggression in the early game and punish the Protoss for, well, something, I guess. Alright, game number 4. Let's see how this one plays out. Can Mong ride on the high of that little win he picked himself up in the previous match? Can he keep that momentum going? Or will Nonthisclothes prove himself to be too strong for our Mong? Mong. They do kind of sound the same. Maybe I should call them close. Or this. Nonthisclothes. I feel Nonthisclothes is too long to pronounce. Anyway, he's playing the Protoss, teal, top left, top right of the map. Mong at the middle left of the map. Playing the brown Terran. Gonna speed up that early phase a little bit once again, up until about 2-minute mark. Starting with a pylon, starting 2 gateways, of course a barrack, then a depot, then another barrack, and a scout. 3rd barrack. That's a very early SCV scout. Honestly, it is. And this time he's placing the pylon in the choke, so we've got that at least. No risky business coming out for none. There is the forge. And the fact that Mong is now further away from Nonthis than in the previous game, it means that he'll probably be capable of getting those cannons up in the front there. Although now he's going to be scouted by this Marine because the Marine is going to the corner. But it's going to take a while for anything else to meet up. 2 zealots are already out. Marine, he fails to catch the Marine. Great move from Mong there. Be it through his own control or just lucky pathing. Cannon is getting attacked now, but none is going to try to intercept Marines coming along. But no more Marines are coming along. Instead, these zealots that just spawned are going to try to catch the Marine. Marine stays alive. Marine's now going to get himself information by going into the base. See what None is up to. As long as Mong is just doing the standard stuff, Mong just has to walk in once. See, he sees the cybernetics core. Probe goes down. He didn't see the gas. He didn't see the nexus, but I know he assumes that they are there. SCV made it through, so the SCV still gets that same information. Mong adding on the gas, adding on the command center, and it's not seizing Marine production. There's a chance he's going aggressive because the academy is coming down here. And his Marines SCV's just gonna walk circles inside of None space. A 3rd barrack, 3rd gateway, coming down for None. That is unconventional. Usually you don't see that 3rd gateway coming out until much later. So he is mixing things up here. That is for certain. And Mong knows, because he saw the 3rd gateway. 4 zealots there in the front. He's going to try to attack Mong, but Mong has already showcased amazing Marine control. So I don't think he's going to be able to do much. And he knows he can't do much, so he pulls back to his front. There's the robotic facility. There is a Citadel of Adun. The 3rd gateway is really throwing me off here. It's really early for this specific build. I mean, there are variations. A 3rd assimilator also already coming out. That means that 9 of those 20 probes are mining gas. No 2nd robotic facility, but I think it's going to throw it down right here, right now. There it is. I think it's going to be a delayed Templar's Archive or something. Anyway, he's massing up big. He's planning on massing up bigger than before. Getting vision of his corners to prevent any cheeky fire bats from being produced with a hovered over barracks, or just to give himself extra vision for anything that might be flying in, such as a dropship. Mong preparing himself, as always. He's got Stim upgrade on the way. Medics and Marines walking closer, inching closer to this front here. One of the cannons already has some damage, but the shield has been restored. There's a lot of Zealots here, so that offensive move that Mong might be eyeing for is definitely not going to work, because the Zealot count is quite high. 11 Zealots already, and 3 more are on the way. Zealot lags are on the way as well. Shuttle about to finish. He's got enough minerals for 2 Reavers. 2 Reavers on the way as well. The timing of those Reavers is going to be delayed by a little bit, because usually you get them out at about 6-5. Mong stimming. He's preparing himself. He goes in, but now he meets a huge amount of Zealots and immediately turns back. He knows he cannot ever, never in his life, not even with the most amazing control, fight into that amount of Zealots. So he pulls back to his base, where he's already upgrading siege mode. Got a tank on the way, starport on the way as well, adding on 2 more barracks. He's got marine range on the way, and weapon upgrade for marines as well. Well, more specifically, it's called U-238. But let's just keep it calling it marine range instead of U-250 238 shells. Right, so a bunker there. He's not making a depot wall as most players tend to do. He's going for just bunkers, and this might be very risky because it means that these Zealots are gonna just surround this without much effort whatsoever. And the Reaver in the back there is again gonna get some free fire off on those Marines. This is gonna have to come down to the most insane Marine micro from Mong, and Zealots now coming in. Zealots just waltzing right in there, not being walled off. Great. Oh, the Reaver shots are not doing that. Oh, the Reaver in the back is not firing, is not in range of anything whatsoever. That's a huge, huge misplay. It works out in favor of Mong. Mong, a couple of Marines left. None of those going to have to fly these Reavers in deeper, because Mong pretty much has nothing left inside of his base. He can fly these Reavers in under the assistance of those Zealots. Zealots taking damage from the tank. Marines being microed. Rear shuttle makes it through all the way. Unloads right next. Ooh, the first Reaver gets shot down by the tank immediately. And the Scarab of the second one doesn't find the target, doesn't explode. It does. That means that Mong survives this by a hair's breadth. Like, if that had been, that was the closest I've ever seen this being held. I've never seen that attack being held that closely. And this also showcases why having a depot wall here in the front is so important. Because those speed Zealots are just going to run in, surround your Marines, surround your tanks, and absolutely destroy you. As we saw showcased right there. Mong got absolutely destroyed. Mong is now throwing up his depot wall because he saw what just happened, and he knows that he's going to need that wall to prevent those Zealots from getting in. Alright, no scans have been used yet. He's relocating his Marines closer to his command center. And none is now flying in over the bottom side of the map. He's got 2 Templars, 2 Zealots, and he's already preparing another drop inside of his base. He's got a Templar, 2 Reavers, and 3 Zealots loading up there. He's going to fly it in right after this one hits. Or this one goes in. Alright, he saw that Marine. He kills the Marine. He scans. You can see those shuttles there on the side there. Very, very close, but you can see them. Just barely. So knows they're there, but another drop is going to come in from the top side. Is he going to go for both shuttles at the same time, or is he going to split them up and time them quite different? Right, he's going to send this one in. He's going to get intercepted by the Marines. So the Marines are now... Oh, he gets a storm from all those Marines that are on the bottom side. Now this on the top side is going to go in. Templar meets the SCVs. SCVs not pulled off once again, and he gets a straight storm and kills about 30 SCVs. Another SCV goes down from the splash damage for the tanks, and another one goes down from the splash damage of the tank. Great setup from Nan. And Mong, honestly, playing very, very greedy, but I assume he didn't expect the top side drop to be coming in at the same time. He did stim those Marines onto the shuttles, but one of the shuttles stayed alive. Now another drop flying out. He's already ramping up quite nicely. He's got weapon upgrade on the way. And Scarab upgrade damage also already on the way. So he's planning on using more Reavers, as we can already see 2 more Reavers being queued up along with those shuttles. Rallying all of his units up to this point here, making it easier to load up. And then finishing the skeleton of his base. And a drop here on the top side already flying in uncontested. There's nothing there in its way. Mong this time around pulls all of his SCVs away from his minerals, makes sure not to lose them, but in the process he's going to lose a couple of his marines to the storm. And the Zealots are going to clean out the remainder of those marines up until those marines enter the bunker and stay alive. And he managed to get another storm off on those SCVs, and Mong calls it GG because there was still another Templar hidden in the shuttle. Mong gets completely toyed with, so to speak, in this series. This is really amazing textbook Protoss that we're seeing here from Nonthisclothes. He is an amazing Protoss player. He honestly is. These are some amazing drops that I'm seeing. And although I have to admit that Mong is not taking the necessary precautions to deal with this, because he knows it's coming. He knows these attacks are coming in these forms and shapes. He's just not preparing himself adequately to deal with them. Nonetheless, Nonthisclothes is definitely showcasing some textbook PvT from the Protoss perspective, and he's honestly pulling off really smart moves. Really well done job. Anyway, we've got more games. More of the same, pretty much, but I'm really praying for Mong here that he can pull off that upset and make a comeback. So let's go into game number 5. Because the score now 3-1 in favor of Non. But let's keep sending out our prayers for Mong. Because Mong, oh, I so badly want to see you succeed. Really badly want to see you succeed. Just ain't working out for you this time around. I forgot to check the date of this game. But I assume this is in the earlier days of Mong's fastest map, Adventure. Specifically because I know that the name Nonthisclothes is from around the time of June, July, or August. And Mong's fastest map journey ended somewhere in October because he had to go into military service. And yeah. Let's see if he can do it. Let's see if he can do it. Barrack, Depot. Pylon, Gateway, Gateway, Pylon in the choke. Probe flies back. And the next is going to come out soon. There is the barrack. The second barrack. And here's barrack number 3 for Mong. So once again, the exact same opening. And can Mong hold it this time around? Can he do it? Reach 2-minute mark. Back to normal speed. Marine goes out. We'll find the bottom spot here because he's going to scout the southern side of the map. Most definitely, but 2 Zealots are already on the way. So no choke denial this time around. Definitely no choke denial. Because those Zealots, just 2 Zealots is all it takes. I mean, just 2 gateways, making Zealots is all it takes. Secure, you can get the choke down. Sometimes it doesn't work out exactly like that. But this time I think it's going to work out in favor of Non. He's going to get that choke down. He's going to be able to pull off his shuttle-centric strategy with timed Zealot lag attack. At least that's what he's been going for in all of the previous games. So I think he's going to go for it again. But he might mix it up. Go for something slightly different. Oh, he's blocking that Zealot with the SCV. He's blocking the Zealot with the SCV. Ooh, nice. The Zealot, though, stays alive. Because he was at risk of losing that SCV and didn't want to lose the SCV. The Zealot is not that important as the SCV, because SCV means you get some extra minerals over time. More important than denying 100 minerals from the opponent. Alright, so there is a systematic score. Cannons in the front coming down. 4 Zealots in the front. And 9 Marines walking up slowly into this portion here. Or area here, not portion. And he's going to try to bait some of those Zealots into fighting. He managed to bait them into fighting. And a single Zealot goes down. The other Zealot's pulling back. And this little advantage here means, ooh, these Zealots are being rallied too close to those Marines. And one of them is going to go down. The other's going to lose a lot of HP. Which now opens up the opportunity for Mong to go aggressive. Because he's got 9 Marines against 2 cannons and 4 Zealots. 2 more Zealots are on the way, but won't finish in time. Stim upgrade, although hasn't finished yet. He forgot to start Stim upgrade, I assume. Or maybe he went for the factory first. At least he can heal up those Marines here. But this means that Nonthisclothes is going to get time. Another cannon up, and that cannon is going to deny the opportunity here for Mong to go aggressive into this choke. He's going to have to wait for that stim upgrade. But there are now 6 zealots. Cannon is close to finishing. I think the finishment of this cannon is going to overlap with the finishing of the stim upgrade. Will it finish? And Mong pulls back because he knows... Oh, he pulls back just a little bit to stay outside the cannon range. Smart, instant reaction. Throws down a single command center this time around, but I think he's saving up for another one because he's not making Marines. There is a tank on the way as well. Engineering bay here on the side. Gonna hover that over the hill. Maybe upgrade, not sure. Once again, 3 gateways for Non because he saw that it worked out really, really well for him last time around. He's going for a repeat. Second robotics coming down. Still of Dunes reaches Zealot legs before the support bay. Interesting detail. You started before the support bay, just so you know if you want to try this build yourself. No shuttle has been started yet. Shuttle starts. Timed, I assume, to overlap almost perfectly. I think he started the shuttle a little bit late, because it's not going to overlap perfectly with the Reaver both spawning at the same time. That already means a short delay there for Non on his ability to attack through the front. Mong already starting up a small choke here. Well, once again, he's not making depots, he's going for bunkers. And as we've seen, Zealots can walk straight through the bunkers. They can walk through depots, so that's kind of the thought process behind going for depots instead. But he's got 5 barracks. He's got turrets on the bottom side here. He's making Marine range once again. He's got a dropship on the way. He's gonna locate those tanks here on the bottom side and try to lure those Zealots in. Actually, this is quite smart, because he's got this engineering bay here on the other side, so he can use these 2 tanks here to fire away and away on his robotic facilities and probably get some damage up on the Reavers that are going to spawn. But Not is going to have to pick up the Reavers as... Alright, the Reavers got redirected ASAP, but he's going to lose this robotic facility, and he's got nothing to kill this engineering bay. He's going to have to make some Dragoons, but he cannot afford Dragoons because he's got... Ooh, he's going to fly the Reaver over. He's going to drop the Reaver right in between. Oh, he's going to fly Zealots over. So the Zealots are now going to take care of those tanks, but Marines are already stimming in. The tank is going to go down, but the Zealots also went down. Great little interaction there from both players. He manages to prevent maximum tank abuse for now. Now he's moving out into the middle of the map. He lost 4 Zealots there to killing that tank. He does have 2 Reavers, but only a single robotics. He's now making more robotics here a little bit further down. Templar's Archive is finished. Templar Stormrocket is on the way. Shuttle speed is on the way. Another gateway is on the way. He's got courses on the way as well. And gateway number 5 a little bit further down. Although 6 and 7 are there. But he managed to flow in all the way to the top side. He's going to walk straight in. Bunkers are filled up though. But these Zealots are just a distraction from the shuttle. He's going to fly it over the top side here. Over the turret that is not yet finished. And he's going to drop right next to the SCVs. But SCVs this time get pulled off. And ooh, he just managed to kill most of the SCVs there. Only 29 SCVs left. He killed about 11 of them. Managed to micro the Reaver and the shuttle quite well. Single Reaver is still alive. Reaver gets a second shot off, and he kills about another 2 SCVs there. Mong manages to stay alive, but does lose a lot of his income. And a lot of bio damage there as well, to the front and to the back. Although not to the front, mostly just to the back side here around his main. Everything is burning. And this honestly looks like another great game for Non. Everything has been set up for success so far. And all he has to do is just keep throwing punches aimed at the guts, aimed at the heart of Mong's economy, and he'll just keep ramping up bigger and bigger. He already has doubled the amount of workers, because Mong only went for a +1 command center, not for a +2 command center. And +1 command center really hurts your odds at coming back economically. Still has not walled off his front. Still has not walled off his front. Well, he can't afford it either, but it does open up more options for Non. Non now doesn't only have to rely on shuttle drops. He can even go to the front now. Flies in, Marines get stimmed, he gets a storm off, another storm, but the storm gets dodged barely. Oh, he gets a 3rd storm off, and all of the SCVs walk into the storm, and only 9 SCVs left for Non. Mong, you are... You're having the worst day of your life, haven't you? Yeah, he knows he's having the worst day of his life here. Another drop already comes flying, but this one gets sniped. Templar just comes down. Templar storms on mineral patch, but nothing there. All the SFVs this time have been saved. And honestly, I think that Mong should have placed this engineering bay here, over here. And then he could have had a little bit more reaction time to those drops. But I honestly just think this game is absolutely ending on this next drop. Mong has pretty much nothing except these tanks on the hill here, abusing Non a little bit, but Non is just building everything down here. He's no longer building up here. And there comes the drop. There's the Corsairs protecting the shuttles. Marines get stinned, but Marines cannot access the shuttles. Ooh, he managed to kill all the shuttles. Oh, he gets the storm off. But the storm gets dodged. Ooh, tight. Tight. He managed to keep those SCVs alive, but it's already too late. He couldn't keep the SCVs from earlier alive. And now another... He's just unloading those Templars right next to the hill, storming the tanks. Tanks get saved there, but they didn't get stormed. But still a nice move, unsieging and loading them up very, very quickly. Great reaction speed. Now loading up more tanks, dropping them on top of the hill, trying to keep the abuse on Non going. But given the state of the game, Non is big enough to keep throwing out drops, because all of his drop tech is right here. Units get right here, his gateways are right here, nothing here, so the tanks are effectively doing nothing. An SCV over the hill? Oh, he's gonna make turrets there. Alright. He's gonna try to protect these tanks from shuttles. But Mong might just fly a probe over the hill and start making an expo to start making more gateways here. Because when he can't make them there. So he's loading up the nail in the coffin. The nail in the coffin is being loaded up. Zealots, 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 more zealots, and a reaver. What is this? 5 shuttles full of zealots and this reaver. Now unloading, he's trying his hardest. And Non is just giving him the opportunity to do it because Non knows the game is already over. Mong knows the game is over, so Mong's just going all in here. Mong is honestly pulling off some pretty cool moves here, unloading Marines right next here, trying to take down that Templar's Archive. But Templar's Archive is going to stay alive because Marines are going down. More units are being loaded up into the shuttles. Shuttles now stacking up, shuttles now redirecting. He's not going to fly in over here. He's just going to fly. He can honestly fly in anywhere he wants because there's nothing here. Nothing of significance. So he flies in. Shuttles get targeted, but he's now unloading on top of those Marines. And now he's unloading on top of the SCVs. And the SCVs are being bammed. Being banged into oblivion by the storms, by the Reaver Scarab. And he gets stormed on top of the Marines. And even more storms coming around the SCVs. 16 SCVs left. No units whatsoever anywhere in the base of Mong. And he's gonna lose the command center. And the tank drop came down as well, once again. Tank drop here in the bottom corner. With 2 kills, 66 kills. But Mong only has 300 minerals. No command center left. Command center has been lifted up. He's not leaving the game. He's grieving a little bit. He's being mad. And yeah, Non won the game. Once again, that's 4 wins. Single loss. Mong having the hardest time of his life here. So yeah, Non still has a lot of minerals left. He's got a couple of probes left. He can honestly just do anything he wants. Mong has extended the game here, even though he's already lost. There's no way he's going to come back. No way at all. No possible scenario imaginable where he takes this back. Where he takes home the W here. He does have a good situation here on the hill, but Non has shuttles, and he's got zealots, he's got Templars. All he has to do is just unload here and kill the remainder here, and it's over. It's over. There's no Marines there. Mong is going for an all-out push, trying to use the hill as his main line of offense and defense. Marines stimming in, being healed by those medics. He's gonna take down these robotic facilities. He's actually doing some amazing stuff, making it work. But as I mentioned before, Non is letting him do it. And unloading was amazing play from Mong, but look at this. Reavers, Zealots, Templars right on top of the supply line. The minerals, couple of them hit. Yeah, he's telling him to leave. Mong is lifting up. Mong doesn't want to leave. Mong is now losing all of the units he had inside of Non's base. Non is already back on 30 probes. 9 SCVs for Mong. Non is tearing him apart once again. Mong's being a sauerkraut. He doesn't want to stop. He just wants to kill that. He wants to get a drop off here. But there's too many cannons here. He's gonna kill the probes, but Non doesn't care. Mong just wanted to kill the probes. Alright, so, yeah. Non wins over Mong. Once again, 4 wins, 1 loss for Non against Mong. And let's see if game number 5 is going to be a change of pace. I doubt it. I honestly doubt it. Well, let's just get into it. So far, low money map pro player Mong was pretty much been in every single KSL or ASL so far. Doesn't manage to put up much of a fight against our villain of the day, Nonthisclothes. Our hero Mong is in very dire circumstances, losing the first 2 games against drops, basically. Amazing drop play from Non, but also quite poor anti-drop play from Mong. Nonthis is really showing really great shuttle play, and even great choices, mixing things up a little bit, taking advantage of weaknesses that he sees in spots inside of Mong's base. Mong, on the other hand, is playing very creative and technical, mechanically speaking. His micro focus is amazing, but you can't always just rely on micro focus or micro plays or stuff like that. You also gotta just take all the necessary precautions in dealing with what your opponent is throwing at you, and Mong so far has not adequately responded to anything that Non has thrown his way. Specifically, never really walling off his choke. Never really... Well, he did in the last game, but it was already too late. Never ensuring his workers stay alive by pulling them away in time, pulling them away in a proper way. Alright, so he gets found on the middle left of the map and finds Nonthisclothes, our villain of the day, playing the white Protoss. Mong is located on the other half of the map, top left, top right corner. And he's gonna try to deny this choke, but there's 4 zealots there, scaring those marines away. A single marine made it into the base. Marine is gonna get some information, sees the cybernetics core there. I'm gonna watch this just from Mong's perspective for a little while, just to mix things up, because we already know what. Yeah, I just want to mix this up. I'm gonna watch this entire game from Mong's perspective. What does he see? What does he know? What can he do? Got fire bats there. He's definitely playing. Alright, so this disappeared. I wanted to do this, but information disappeared. Like, it just disappears once I turned it off. They really should fix that at some point. Anyway, so I'll just keep this. Both players completely visible. This is kind of pointless. Alright, so he's just standing there. A standoff. Like in a Western, whoever pulls the trigger first is gonna die. So honestly, Non is in a pretty good spot here, but Non is just making sure that these Marines and Firebats cannot make their way through. So he's walling this out with those Zealots, because what Mong, I assume, tried to do is find an opening. He could walk his Firebats through. Now a fight is starting. Mong is not responding. Mong responds. Mong might goes backwards, but doesn't already gain the upper hand, so Mong is now forced to pull away back to the safe vestiges of his base, and he's going for... I should have actually been looking at Mong way earlier. He went for 2 barracks, 2 factories, 2 command centers, and now 2 more barracks. So he's going for some really unorthodox stuff that we don't really see in this specific way, because he's going for a high economy build, but also going for a aggressive tank build. Or is he going for vultures? Or is he going for Goliaths? I'm not sure, but well, at least it's an interesting mix-up. So Non is doing the basic stuff that he always does. He's got fishing off the sides. He's making 2 robotic facilities. He's making a support base, making a citadel of a dune, upgrading Zealot lags. He's only going for 2 gateways this time around. Not going for 3 gateways, so he did mix it up a little bit. He didn't lose any of his Zealots, so he gets all of his Zealots alive. And the fact that Mong went for only a 2 barrack build and is not making Marines at the moment, and doesn't have a wall, I have a bad feeling about this one. I've got a bad feeling. But at least Mong has his SFV here in the front, so he knows when those SFVs will be leaving. He's got 2 scans on the way, but the scan won't finish in time, because those Reavers will be out before the scans are finished. I'm wrong. Those Reavers won't be out. This Reaver will be out before the scan finishes, but this one is delayed by quite a bit, so he's now making 2 more robotic facilities to make up for that fact. So it is going to be a somewhat late attack from None. Will be past the 630 mark. That's the 640 mark. There's the scan. Mong pretty much seeing everything inside of Non's base, so he knows exactly what Non is up to. Didn't see the front part here, but he did see the front part there with the SCV just a little bit early, so he knows the amount of Zealots there. He knows that there's a shuttle there. He saw the 4 robotics, so he knows a massive drop play is coming. Once again, no choke. No choke. No choke whatsoever, but he does have a nice amount of tanks. So that means that the Zealots, by the time those Zealots arrive here, they've already taken a significant amount of damage before they start hammering away on the tanks. Then the Marines can stim up and finish off the Zealots. The fact that he's already got 4 tanks out that early, it means that these Reavers will not be able to hammer on those bunkers with the Scarabs. So I do see Mong holding it here, but he's now pulling his Marines back. He's going to have to pull his Marines back to the front. The Fire Bats in the bunker. That's really painful for those Zealots, because the Zealots have already gone down. The Zealots now making their way through the tanks. 2 tanks are going to go down. 3 tanks have gone down, but the bunkers stay alive. Zealots have gone down. Reaver with the shuttle with the Reavers has gone down. So good hold for Mong. Attack doesn't work this time around. He did manage to find himself a little bit of a workaround, but do keep in mind, usually his attack from Non is coming out at about 610 or 625. So Non's frontal attack was already delayed by at least a minute. And if Non had been faster, this would have never helped. Because Mong would have had less tanks, he would have been in 1 bunker, he would have been on less Marines. So the timing of Non facilitated the hold of Mong. But Mong, having very early +2 command centers now, is booming economically because he only have 57 SCVs against 64 probes from Non. But Non is now sending his drop in over the top side, and there's no Marine anywhere close to intercept this. And he's pulling off his SCVs. This time he's pulling off all of his SCVs really well. Great job, Mong. You've learned, finally, although it took you 6 games. You did it. SCVs stay alive, no damage taken whatsoever, lost a couple of Marines, but loses no SCVs here. So 58 SCVs still alive. Low on minerals, but it doesn't matter because the minerals are going to come straight flowing back into his bank. Thanks to these SCVs staying alive. So this is the best scenario for Mong that we've seen so far in all of these games that they've played so far. Non, however, is not planning on slowing down. He's planning on keeping up the pressure. Already has shuttles flying out over the Corsairs flying out over the map, but now the shuttles are flying out over the map as well, following those Corsairs. He's making Dragoons for the frontal attack because he knows he needs Dragoons for the fire bats in these bunkers. Although he unloaded the fire bats, and the fire bats have died in the process of, I assume, defending here. The drop comes in over the bottom side of Mong's base. Mong is already pulling back his Marines to his base, but he's not responding to the drop itself. Already responds to the drop itself. But an amazing combination of Scarab and Storm. Killing a bunch of SCVs there. A bunch of Marines going down as well. A couple of SCVs that were here also went down. But the largest chunk of SCV stays alive. But he's still... Ooh, Mong responds very quickly. There. Keeps his SCVs alive. Was very close. If he had ignored that one, his SCVs would have walked right into the storm, been stormed down, have died. But Mong prevents the largest bit of the damage, keeps his economy afloat, although he did lose 10, 50, maybe 20 SFEs there in the process, but it's way better than losing all of it like he did in the previous games. He pretty much just kept losing all of his SFEs every single time around, or at least half of it. Half to all of it. That's not what you want. That's the opposite of what you want. That is the worst case scenario. Alright, so let's take a look at Non. He's got carrier, he's got air upgrade weapon on the way, ground weapon upgrade on the way, he's got scarab damage on the way, he's got armor and shield for ground on the way, he's got reavers loading up into shuttles, he's got zealots all spawned up, he's got 200 supply, 200 psi, a lot of tempers, a lot of dragoons. He's gonna go for the frontal attack, and there's pretty much nothing in the front here from Mong. Mong is completely misreading what Non is doing, or Non is completely reading what Mong is doing, because Mong is setting himself up for a defense around his main, but Non is just throwing a frontal attack at him, mixing it up really smart with those 6 reavers, taking down those bunkers within the blink of an eye. Now those tanks in the back are being threatened by the reavers, and Non knows he's won this. He's got his entire mass waltzing right into Mong's face, and Mong has already relocated his tanks, but he's losing pretty much all of his marines there to the storms, and the reavers and the dragoons now waltzing right in, getting on top of those tanks with their level 1 weapon upgrade. Mong just died. There's no way Mong is gonna hold this one, because he's got a couple of marines, a couple of tanks, but there's 2 reavers, a lot of dragoons, and more units are on the way. Mong recognizes that he's lost, calls the GG, leaves the game, and Non comes out on top with a very smart mix-up, and partially because he made no wall. Bunker wall is not a real wall. It doesn't keep the opponent out. Mong should know this of everyone, considering his low map experience. He should know better than this. He should know to wall off his front, not to keep it wide open. So yeah, Nonthisclothes beats Mong 5 wins to 1 loss. And Non has taught us a lot about if you pull off great moves as a Protoss, and he did pull off great moves as a Protoss. He just pretty much did everything textbook, and everything worked amazingly well. Everything hit, everything did damage. I am impressed by this Protoss. I honestly love it. Love it, love it, love it. So yeah, Mong is not our hero today. At least he tried to be our hero, but he failed to succeed in saving the world against evil overlord Nonthisclothes, and Nonthisclothes takes home the W. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned a couple of things about what to focus on when you're a Terran against a Protoss, because most of the things Mong did is not what you should be doing as a Terran. Specifically in how you defend, always secure your SCVs, always try to intercept those drops, so get hill vision on the sides or locate your marines on the drop paths on the sides there, and try to wall off your front. Try to wall off your front. That's a really big takeaway here, because the frontal attack that we saw here worked because he had no depots here, which means that there's nothing for the mass to go through. They are immediately attacking the units that you have behind it, or that Mong in this case had behind it. And so that pretty much means that whatever units you're pulling away from the sides of your base or your main will arrive at the front when it's already too late. And that's what the wall here facilitates. It keeps units out and gives you time to relocate units from the sides to the front, from the back to the front, and fight off that mass. Plus, the tanks that are behind the wall and the marines and the bunkers that are behind the wall will at least deal a lot of damage on those zealots in the front. And once those zealots then break through the wall in the front, once they do get on top of the units here, they will go down rather quick, and you won't lose all the units there in the back. Basically, you preserve units, you buy yourself some time, and you kill enemy units. That's the most important thing, because as Terran, you have to ramp up, buy yourself time, stay alive, not die. Because for the Protoss, it's racing against the clock. The Protoss is trying to kill you before you are too big to kill. Anyway, that's my little thought at the end of the game. What to focus on when you're a Terran. against a player like this, like Non, who is pretty much a player like Gold, SCV, and JH. Pretty much the same level of play. Although I honestly do think Non has a better Protoss than JH does. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm dragging this out for way too long. Hope you come back for a new video next time around. Hope you enjoyed this one. See you later. Have a good day. See you next time.